Greetings, beloved human family and co-creators. I am Gilles Mancillon, and I thought I'd come very briefly today to speak of the new moon in Aries. It is a moon that sometimes makes us want to act before we think. It is also very difficult to be patient during those times. We want it all and we want it now, so to speak. It is a very dominant and powerful energy. But in order to do that, we have to simplify our life in order to be able to be very focused in terms of what we want, because we do want the best of everything and we want it all. It is something natural. It is part of our natural nature to want it all, but we want everything that is appropriate to us. We wouldn't want something that is inappropriate to us. So it is a new moon that is going to be at 18 degrees of Aries. So if you have any planets at 18 degrees anywhere in the chart, they will affect you. Or any planet in Aries also will be more affected. For instance, I have a Jupiter at 21 degrees of Aries and Venus at 24 degrees of Aries in my natal chart. So those things will be amplified. My power of manifestation and creating a mystical, magical event. And so there is also a square of Pluto in Capricorn to that new moon, and so that will bring to the forefront of consciousness deeper issues, and those issues will not be able to be ignored, on how to use power, where power is being abused, and where we give away our power. So it is very important to put that in perspective. Because Mars is going to go into retrograde on the 17th, and then Pluto is going to go retrograde as well. Right now there is Saturn and Jupiter as well in retrograde, and when planets go into retrograde, it gives us a chance to reflect, to reassess, to reorganize, to go within and to review what works, what doesn't work, and to rearrange, to know what we really need, what we really want, to readjust our plan. Mars is our sexual nature, Pluto is our transformative power and physical realm, Saturn is our sense of responsibility, wisdom, and higher understanding, and Jupiter is our power to expand, to manifest, to create the sense of miracle in our life. The key is, of course, to bring a sense of action and non-action in harmonious connection, because if we move always we are always into action, we get exhausted. But if we're always in non-action, we kind of get stuck in there and we don't get anything done. So it is very important right now to make a plan in relationship to what we really want. First, we have to know what we really want, really need. For that, we have to tune in to our intuition, to our heart center, and of course to lead by example whenever we can, and not being afraid to be your light, to be in your light, to be the loving self that you are, to drop the mask as much as you can. Even some people do not understand you, do not let them deter you from the true you, from who you are. That means accepting all your flaws, all your weaknesses. They may come up to the surface to be integrated, and you can work on them, but do not judge yourself for it. And move into a relationship of feeling, intuition, emotional intelligence. Sometimes it's good to just feel. Once you feel good, and you can just allow yourself to flow with that love, with that feeling good, because once you feel good about a situation, it flows naturally. So that leads me to speak about the gap. The gap is something that's an integral part of that matrix of time and space and matter. It is a space that separates us from one another, that separates us from where we are to where we want, to the realization of our dreams and desire. There is always a gap, a space, a void in between that. So the idea is, in order to make things simple, there are many ways to fill in this gap, but my perspective on that is to create, to fill the void, to fill the gap inside of you between where you are and where you want to be, between what you want and what you wish to experience. And once you fill that void within, then you are in alignment with that desire, with that situation, with that connection. Then the outer experiences will be a lot easier to manifest and bring into your life. For that, we need to learn how to become relaxed. Because if we're not relaxed, then we come into situation, we move into stress, and we can expect to have good results from stress. So it is about breathing deeply, to not drink too much coffee, if possible, because that's adrenaline. But to understand that carbon monoxide is what creates the stress within ourselves, but we have to learn to empty our lungs and breathe deeply, the love and light, with as much consciousness as possible. And the more we breathe, the more oxygen we bring into our life and to our bloodstream, the more relaxed we feel, the more at ease and at peace we are. So we want to repeat to ourselves that you are every day, that you are peace, you are love, you are light. And to breathe it in, that you are in love, you are in light, you are in the light, you are in peace. And those are very important. Another thing that is very important to do that is to expose your physical body to at least 10 to 20 minutes of sunlight every day, even if there is clouds, even if it rains. The light, the external light, your physical body has to be exposed every day to that natural light in order to integrate the changes that the sun broadcasts to us, photonic energy that accelerate and makes your body integrate more of those new photons, so that we can move into to this new crystalline state eventually. But there is it's like the sun is sending upgrade for our physical bodies through the physical light. So it is important to always go outside at least 20 minutes a day, no matter what the weather may be. So I hope this message was interesting for you. So that I do a little reading for entertainment purposes, and so to read some cards. Of course, I looked in the internet. Sometimes there's many people doing tarot card readings, and they have very, very different view and perception on how to read the card or the interpretation of the card. But I will stick to my own perception and how they speak to me. I hope that this will be of interest. Well, the situation from the tarot reading cards is that the oracle of this day is the situation is the Six of Coins. So it is a card of abundance, of prosperity, of opportunity to bring more abundance, more flow, more money into our life in order to be free from material bondage. From lack, because there is nothing, there is no divinity is never associated with lack. Your spiritual self does not know lack. It is only within our mind and our physical manifestation that we live in a society that is created a lot of obstacle to the abundance. But we have to reconnect within ourselves to this. You can repeat to yourself: I am abundant. I am prosper. I am attracting to me all that I need in order to create a life of happiness and joy. I am free. I'm enjoying freedom. I am rich. I am abundant. I am sharing my abundance with everyone. I am a conduit for higher flows of abundance, and I enjoy that each and every day. Of course, you work with your own process. There is no, but there is great potential for opportunity to attract more prosperity into our life this month, or to set the course of that for the future, for it to come. Once we are clear and sure that we deserve, that we want more abundance, then the universe registers that and find ways to bring it to us. The second card is the card that opposes that situation, and here the opposition is not really detrimental. It is the Nine of Staff, and the Nine of Staff is a card of direct strength and communication. So it is very direct. It is so the universe is encouraging that. There isn't really heavy forces that oppose that energy. So it should be an easy time to be able to attract those opportunities and those ideas, those concepts, those people that can assist us in bringing that abundance into our life. The third card is what we have in our conscious mind, what will manifest for us in the future. And here we have the High Priestess. She's a very powerful card of intuition. She rules the moon. She says that everything cannot be revealed all at once, but every detail, every time you have something that comes into your mind that brings you enlightenment, that brings you strength, that brings you courage, that brings you ease, that brings you light, that enlighten your mind. You want to use that, you want to follow that, you want to follow. There is no no random event. There may be something may be seen as random event, but in truth everything is synchronicity, and to utilize more that, to be more attuned to your intuitive power, and to follow whatever you receive is what you should follow from within, whatever makes sense, that is whatever is felt deep inside of you is really the highest guidance you can receive at any given moment. In the subconscious, in the distant past, we have the six of cup, and the six of cup is happy memory. It's a memory from the past, but it can also be from past life. But it's not a nostalgia. It is more reconnecting to happy situation. It is something that can pop up into your mind, or new connections, people that come into our life, that brings great joy into our life. So we have to prepare for receiving them, so that we can share that joy. Right now, this fifth card is the card that is the present, that is now living, and it's the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is a card of expansion, so we do want to know, we want to be able to conduct the flow of our expansion of our life. We don't want to expand into negative territory. So just whenever you think something is expanding into something unwanted, just go back to your center. Whenever it's going, if it's going in a flow that is wanted, then you can just flow with that. It is also a card that is asking us to be patient, which is very difficult. Like I said, in this new moon, it's very difficult to be patient, but we have no choice. Until we can fill that gap, we have to prepare for the reception, to be able to receive what we have asked for. What's coming up in the near future is the Two of Swords, and it is a card of peace. So this card of peace is something we have to create within ourselves. Once we create within ourselves, we can bring it into the outside world. Once we have it, we can enjoy it. You have to understand that peace is not a luxury item. It is something that is necessary in order to experience life in the optimum way. So it is not something. It is something that if you don't have peace, you have to create it within yourself. You have to breathe. You have to relax. You have to learn to let go of those things, the past, the things that tie you to negative energy, so that you can enjoy the peace, and then from there you will be able to be inspired to move into something new. The sixth card is the 7 cards is represent who we are in this situation, and here we are the Sun, and the Sun is the most powerful, the most brilliant card of the tarot. It is the Sun is this great being of light that we all gravitate around, and is the guardian of the collective soul. It is your power center. It is this is how bright the soul is. It's like the sun, and so it's to understand that the power comes from within. You are the sun in the situation. You are the light. You are the controller of all that happens on a higher level, because you can't really. We can't really change the plan of the soul. The soul sometimes overrides everything else. Your soul really wants something, it will get it, no matter what the ego wants. So it's also about shining our light, and the sun also represents in the tarot is the fulfillment of all our dreams and wishes. So in this point, in this time, we are that which we seek, and once we find ourselves, we find everything, and from there, everything else will come to be manifested around that. The 8th card is the card of the environment, what surrounds us and where we are reflected. And here we have the card of the Emperor, which is governed by Aries. And so that means great opportunities will be potential for it to come from the outside world, people that supports our ideas, supports our way of life, and so we'll be able to somewhat lean on the outside world, take on those opportunities, welcome them. And to allow the support to be provided by the universe. On the inner emotional level, the hopes and fear, we have the Hierophant, so that in terms of emotional, we're reaching somewhat of an emotional resolution, where we are accepting a certain level of wisdom to always be attuned to the present moment, to receive, to follow, to guide us. And so there is great wisdom, there is great understanding that is available if we listen within, if we listen to the inner voice and we follow that, then we become the master of obstacle. There is no longer anything that can oppose that force. However, in the final outcome is the card of materialism. So this card says that you have to balance the material and the spiritual, to not be overrun by the ego, to allow this balance to happen so that the soul can be fully in presence. But it's also not to let others demonize you or make you wrong about anything, to allow the fusion between all things to become one, and to allow all of who you are to integrate all of you are, and still to follow the light, because we do not want to fall prey to the ego, to the lower self. Otherwise we become victim of the situation. So by regaining our own sense of empowerment, self-empowerment, we are able to keep the ego in check, and to move into a situation where we know that we are where we need to be, and all the elements of our life are integrated in an harmonious and proper way. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I thank you very much for your time, for your presence, for your sharing, your subscription, your comments. I wish you a wonderful time. Follow your intuition. Be in peace. Be in love. Be in joy. Be in the light. And from there, you will see that the whole world will change to just adapt to those new frequency of light and love that we are broadcasting. I wish you a good day. Namaste.